Hello, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 16th. It is our second community meeting for the month of February. I will share our HackMD page so you can follow along with our agenda, what we've got going on today. We always start with our welcome and objective. And our objective for our community meetings is to give you synchronous updates about what's going on with the project. Welcome. Welcome to our community meeting. And yeah, we're going to go through the things that you should know about where TCE is, or Tanzu Community Edition is, and how it's doing. As a reminder, these meetings are recorded and put on YouTube. So bear that in mind with information that you're sharing as we go through the call. So for announcements, we are still making a push to find out who's using Tanzu Community Edition out in the wild. If you would like, please add your company to our adopters page. It's in the top level of the repo. It's linked here in the description. Thank you, Scott and Carlos, for being the first adopters added to the file. We'll be sending you out something as a thank you from us. We also have a show and tell section in our repository under the discussions on GitHub, and it's a place for you to demonstrate some of the things that you've been making with Tanzu Community Edition, or some of the things that you've added, like a feature or a blog or a talk that you've done. So anything of note that you're doing with Tanzu Community Edition, it's helpful to share it there because things in Slack often get lost as things scroll. And this is our living record of all of the great things that you all are doing with Tanzu Community Edition. We've had a recent really cool edition of an opinionated install type thing with TCE Local. So I would encourage you all to check that out. I think Scott's also just put one in the Slack channel as well. So yeah, please check those out. If you weren't at our office hours last week, that's okay. We clipped a portion of it for you to show the new unmanaged cluster as it was in the RC3. None of the functionality of that should have changed, though we do have a fourth release candidate, but I will let engineering and PM talk about that. Which brings me to the end of my announcement section. So we want to go ahead and pass it over to PM. So Roger.
Hi, there we go. I've just gone through my weekly, is it the hardware mute button? Is it the software mute? I'm gonna sort of take the air out of Josh's first bullet, but he has a lot more to say than just what the bullet says, by announcing that V0100 is releasing tomorrow. And you will find lots in the changelog, which you'll see in the changelog in RC4 as well. But high-level stuff that's most important is that unmanaged clusters is now included in the distribution. You don't have to build it yourself. It's alpha. It's considered alpha stage now because it can change, and also because it does not yet have a Kickstart UI, which we're going to want to have before we pat it on its head and kick it out the door as stable. But it's there and ready to go. Another feature that is included, and it is necessary only when the infrastructure requires it. So it's very optional, is the whereabouts CNI plugin that does IPAM, mouth problem, IPAM, that is IP address management and assignment across the cluster rather than on a per node basis. And then there are lots of smaller features, bug fixes, and progress toward future things, which I will now let Josh talk about.
What's up, everyone? So as Roger mentioned, 0.10.0, it's actually going to happen, in case anybody was curious or worried it wasn't going to. We're really psyched. If you do want to play around with stuff, there is a 0.10.0 RC4 in the releases of GitHub. You got to go into like, it's a draft release, I think they call it. But anyways, you got to kind of go to click on all releases and you'll see it in there. Someone can throw a link in to the Zoom chat if they want. So feel free to check that out and play around with it. And then we'll have an official release tomorrow. When that release cuts, not only will unmanaged clusters be there, but we'll have docs around it too. So some of you have been hearing buzz around this, but you're kind of like, what do I even do? What is this thing? There will be docs. It's just all kind of in a staged format right now because we haven't cut around to the release. So yeah, that's really exciting stuff. We've already started work on 0.11 and really stoked about what's going on in 0.11. So we'll share more about that. I don't want to steal the thunder from 0.10. It deserves some time in the spotlight, I think. But I do want to talk a bit about some of the proposals we have in flight. We'll be closing the RFC. You're still welcome to give us feedback, but the official RFC period for the app platform meta package, if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out. Most of the feedback, there hasn't been a ton, but most of it's been quite positive. We're looking to bring together kind of a cohesive package that installs many of the things required to provide a app level platform on top of TCE. So pinning together a lot of different projects from KPAC to cartographer to cert manager and on and on and on. So do check that out if you have any feedback. And then one proposal that is really exciting that we're just wrapping up to get pushed into GitHub is a proposal that's going to be focused on the install experience and UI of TCE. This is something that has been on our roadmap for a while. Roger's been pushing hard for us to have some kind of on-ramp on this in this front, but we're going to be relooking at how we can lower the barrier of entry to getting TCE installed on your workstation, and then how you can kind of be guided through the various things you might do, like spinning up an unmanaged cluster, a management cluster, a workload cluster, and so on. So really exciting stuff. Happy to post that proposal as soon as we get it up. And Nigel, I believe that is it for engineering updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. I'm going to go back to Roger for a minute because we have another announcement to make.
Yeah, I'd like to first of all introduce V Corps. V is, I'm going to pass it over to V to give some background right after I finish this statement. I am going to be easing off of TCE product management and moving over to one or two other open source projects. I'm in the process of picking up Harbor now, and we've got some exciting things going on there. V will be coming in and taking over as PM for Tanzu Community Edition, and they have a great background with Kubernetes, the community, and are drinking from the fire hose right now about what's going on in the project. And I'm sure you will find some style differences, but we'll have a great experience working with the, and now I'd like to let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks a bunch, Roger, for the introduction. So some of you might know me from Twitter shenanigans or KubeCon shenanigans or other, silly stuff like that. I was also in charge of product at Tilt, which some of you might have heard of or used as well. It's a developer tool. So yeah, I'm very happy to join here. It seems like we have done a lot of great work so far, so I'm happy to pick up on where things are. But yeah, like Roger mentioned, right now I'm basically just trying to absorb all the things because there's so much going on. And right now I'm trying to figure out how the heck do I get the event for this thing in my calendar because Outlook. But anyway, that's another discussion. So yeah, I'm happy to be here and looking forward to working together and doing a bunch of good stuff with all of you.
I just want to add quickly that for especially those of you non-VMware folks, It looks like I've been doing this since about October. I actually joined last January, and I've been working on TCE, and we've been doing, monthly releases back then ever since January. So, I'm not just sort of running in the door and back out again. But it's been great. I feel a great sense of team accomplishment, and I'm happy to pass the baby along and watch it grow. Now, I'll still be around for a while, so thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Roger. Welcome, V. And now we have some advocacy updates. So can we have someone from advocacy talk about what you all have going on right now?
Yeah, so first, welcome V. It's nice seeing you outside of just conferences. So on February 22nd, we have Scott again, yay! Talking about Carvel, and there'll be some stuff in there regarding Tanzu Community Edition as well. Lee and I have some guides that are in the works that we'll be able to talk about soonish. They'll be about Pinniped. One's going to be a Pinniped and one is with Sonaboy. But those are on their final stages, just getting reviewed, etc., to get done ideally. So then we have the recordings. So the talks that we've had previously. So like if you've missed anything about the news with KPAC being a new package, there was Tanzu Tuesdays. So that's located on tanzu.tv. And also there's a TGIK on that. And then Scott also has introduction there on Tanzu Community Edition with Carvel. And there's also a TAP overview, and that TAP one also included some Tanzu Community Edition as well. So just a bunch of really cool recordings to go and check out and join us on the 22nd.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Scott. All of the Carvel talks and the Tanzu Community Edition talks have been great so far, and I'm sure this one will be too. Okay, so the last thing we have is a community manager announcement. I said that we got all of our announcements out at the beginning. That was not true. As the last item of the community meeting, I wanted to let you all know that this will be my last Tanzu Community Edition meeting as your community manager. I joined VMware almost a year ago to help start the community, and I am so very glad I did. It's been a real honor and pleasure getting to know and work with all of you, our community, all of our amazing maintainers, and the other wonderful staff supporting the great project. And none of that is going to change. It's been an incredible team striving to make this project the absolute best it can be, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you all accomplish. This is truly the best engineering team I have ever worked with. I'm excited to introduce to you someone who has a passion for community and will be your community manager moving forward. If you're familiar with the Pinniped and Carvel communities, Nancy is no stranger to you. She's done amazing community work there, as well as with DigitalOcean and South by Southwest. Please strive to make her feel as welcome and as lucky as you all have made me feel to be your community manager. I'll be here to help with the office hours next week, and Nancy will run the community meeting on March 2nd. I will hand it over to Nancy to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nigel, for that wonderful introduction and all that you have done thus far to build up this amazing community. I hope that I can take the reins and do your work justice. But yeah, as Nigel said, I have been working with Carvel projects in the Pinniped project as well. Nigel's going to be taking over Pinniped, and now I'll be working with the TCE community. Super excited to get to know everyone that's been building up this project, and looking forward to supporting the community as we continue to grow. So you can find me on Kubernetes Slack if you want to reach out. I'm there. I'm also on Twitter at Microwavables. So really looking forward to engaging with everybody. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, so there are a lot of changes that are happening, all great things, and I'm looking forward to the future of the project and the community. As was mentioned earlier, we have a release tomorrow. Everyone has been very hard at work getting ready for that. And there's still quite a lot to do. So we are going to get back to that and hopefully have some an amazing release for you tomorrow, and be ready to answer all of your questions next week on the office hours. Thank you for helping us get through this pretty efficiently, so we can get back to making the great V0.10 release for you. Take care, y'all. Bye.